We are live again.
Great. Welcome, everybody, to episode 18 of the You Can't Comp This NBA podcast. I'm here with my host, Adam Amy. My name is Russell Gibson. How are you today, mate?
I'm great. I'm back.
You are
It's
back.
it's good. I missed being on the show last
I
week.
missed you too.
I heard I was actually listening. And I've got some answers for you. Don't you worry.
Good.
Yeah, no, it was a bit weird not doing a show on Sunday night.
Could not
And
agree with you more.
it was, but yeah, you flew the ship solo very well last week.
Thank you.
But I'm glad to be back. Very happy to be back in sunny Melbourne. We've had some
Yeah,
beautiful weather.
it's been spectacular.
And yeah, I'm a lot more sober than I was last Sunday. That's all I'm going to say.
Alrighty, this week we're going to discuss Siddiq Bey, Jevon Carter. We've got a Zion Williamson fan question. We've got a Ben Simmons fan question.
Is that Ben Simmons and Zion have both written into the show, or
No, just Ben Simmons wrote
just
in.
Ben?
I found an opinion piece on NBA Hotspot Worldwide, so I just wanted to quickly touch on that, and then we have to talk about Gary Vee. There's been a lot of movement in this product and in the sealed and the unsealed stuff, so
Oh
I think
wow.
that's definitely worthwhile talking about. So I
Yeah.
think let's kick off. The first thing we wanted to talk about this week was Siddiq Bey.
Siddiq Bey.
I think
Now,
so.
now, look. Before we go into we'll call it a historical performance for him. It's probably the
Yeah,
highest he's not gonna. He might be a superstar. He might drop another 50 in his career, but not many players do it. And the last time we had this many 50-point games in the month of March, I believe it was 50-point games,
yeah,
and 6 of those performances were made by the one and only Wilt Chamberlain.
interesting.
So that basically caps it at, like, there would have been 4 players. So we've had a lot more. We've had more players do it. We've had 8 performances, 2 of which were LeBron James. I think Kyrie was one. Cat was one. Now I'm scraping the barrel. I can't even remember who else is done. Oh, KD. KD dropped one. And we've got Siddiq Bey. I think that's all of them.
It's been a big
There's
month,
been a
hasn't it?
few. There's been a lot of points dropped.
There's been some really good games, yeah.
But when the Kyrie one did not surprise me. LeBron doing it did not surprise me.
Yeah,
KD, obviously one of the best scorers of all time. LeBron, I think today he just went to second all time past the mailman.
yeah, he
Like,
did.
this is an elite class of basketballer, but
Scorers, yeah, definitely.
like Sadiq Bey is in pretty elite company. So
Yeah,
very very impressive effort, to say the least.
yeah. Look, I think we need to temper people's hobby expectation here. I don't think because he gets a 50-point game, he's going to be doing the same numbers as these other boys. But I think we have to talk about this because I think hobby wise, he wasn't really under the focus last year. A lot of that focus went to Killian Hayes.
That's true, and look, not to rag on Killian, but he at this stage of his career, things sort of haven't panned out as well, and Cade Cunningham coming onto the scene means they're really just throwing darts at a dartboard to see what sticks.
Yeah, look, I mean, if we're talking about Killian Hayes now, if you PC'd him, I wouldn't give up. I think it's too soon to give up. He's still a really young prospect.
He's very yeah,
He's
you're right, very very young, and this is the thing, players don't blossom overnight.
not at that
Every
position. Point
player,
guard is the hardest position to play offensively and defensively.
it's
Like it's
we
just
call it a very mature position. How's that?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think back to Bay though, the thing that most interests me about him is that I liked it how he could play all over the court. He could play
Mm-hmm.
definitely he could play two guard, maybe a little bit of small forward and a pinch of point guard,
Yeah.
if needed. I think the other thing I liked about him too is he was really overshadowed last year by Killian Hayes, so there was a lot of value to be had there. You could get
Yeah.
silvers for $5 or $10 for him, and to be honest, I was more picking them up if I saw them and I'd already bought something off someone else in this sale. If that makes sense, like I was sort of
Yeah,
just
for
chucking
sure.
in with my postage for free. So that's how I'd been sort of picking them up. I think that why has he had this exponential growth in his game? Like obviously he's
Yeah.
shooting it a little bit better, but his ball handling has improved dramatically.
Yeah.
He's getting really good at getting to the cup, and he's kind of got a little bit of a herky-jerky move that he can make a little bit of space, and he can hit some, some jump shots off the dribble too. So
Yeah. Look, I think Detroit, while this season, particularly probably the Siddiq Bey 50-point game is going to be the highlight of the year.
for Detroit,
Actually, and
yeah,
look, they've got Kate Cunningham as well. That's a bit of a highlight.
yeah,
First couple of games you would have been shaky on it, but after that he's been pretty serviceable as a rookie.
Cunningham,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
The
they've got
last
a
month he's been excellent.
they've got a young core that's strong, young, high draft picks. Let's see what they can do. Like,
Yeah,
look, they're really probably two, maybe a third option, but two very distinct ways to build a winning roster. Now there is the I'm gonna buy the players that we need, and we're gonna put other pieces around the players we buy.
the Brooklyn Nets method.
I'm glad you used the Nets, not the Lakers, but we've done it wrong. And it's not because I don't like Westbrook. We're not going down this track because that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is, we'll call it the Warriors method that the Atlanta Hawks have used, and that's to build through the draft.
Sure.
You've got this superstar core of Curry, Clay, Draymond.
Yep.
They're the old heads, right? The ones that came through together.
Yeah.
But they were all drafted. And that's, well, funnily enough, Westbrook, Harden, and Durant. When they were in OKC, they built the roster through the draft. That's where you get your talent. And look, Harden's probably the example there where if you're looking at value in Siddiq Bey, I'm not saying he's James Harden. I'm saying you've got Durant and Westbrook, and then you've got Harden as the third string in that trio. And Harden wasn't on the radar to that extent. He was a role player and came off the bench in that OKC lineup.
Yeah, I think comparing Siddiq Bey to Harden is a tough one.
But Harden didn't blossom until he left OKC. That's what I mean about being a late bloomer. Like, he put in some solid performances.
He had a pretty decent finals performance, and then they traded him.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Maybe like a 20% James Harden.
Yeah. Like, not the actual. We're not comping the player. We're looking at the situation, I guess. Yes, 150-point game does not make him a scoring machine. That's right. But I'm saying it's possible that down the track, if Detroit's plan of building doesn't work, Siddiq Bey might be a superstar. Just needs to be put on the right team.
Yeah, look, I think for me, I haven't even really thought about that. So maybe I need to give a bit of prediction where I think you'll end out.
Well, it's funny because I'm going to quote something a friend of mine said, and it's not in relation to Siddiq Bey, I can tell you that. Let's not write home about the 50-point game too much, because even a broken clock is right twice a day. That was my friend commenting when I said, "Did you check out Russell Westbrook's triple-double yesterday?" Anyway. But yeah, like Siddiq Bey, I think there is value to be had, especially in those young and up and coming players. Like, you're right. If you can get an extra silver prism thrown in a deal, a little bit of cream on top, yeah.
Yeah, look, he's currently sitting at 1550 USD.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think at this price he is an absolute buy.
That's the silvers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you can get at that price is just buy. I think
it's 15 USD.
Yeah.
So if you're getting so in between that $10 to $15 range Australian,
that's
just value.
Bargain.
Yeah.
In the current market, that is an absolute bargain. Look, a month ago, we would probably be saying you're overpaying a little bit. Yeah. So in the last 3 months, he's up 9.4%. In the last 1 month, he's up 158%.
No, it's more the last 5 days, isn't it? No, he's been a bit of a yo-yo. I've seen, looking at these comps,
But that's dramatic. It really is, and I think, I think that 50-point game has absolutely put him on the map in terms of hobby-wise too.
It'll definitely do that.
Look, and I think at 1550, that's totally fine. Like, even if he goes to $30, $40, even up to 50 USD. I can see that, and I think that's totally fine because
Well, it's one of
I
those
don't think
things, isn't it?
you don't
Like,
score 50 points by accident, but it also say too, like you can really tell he's put a lot more skill into his game. His
yeah,
body has definitely developed, and I think also too maybe what we didn't talk about before was the whole like Cunningham, Killian Hayes, composition. I think there is a significant uptick from Killian Hayes to Cade Cunningham, and that has a
yeah,
flow and effect over the roster. And I think
yeah,
someone
definitely.
like Siddiq Bey is definitely going to benefit from Cade's game. Like Cade's game is very difficult to measure with numbers and quantify, but maybe this is like an indicator of how you do it. How well your teammates playing.
Yeah,
You know,
this is true.
Cade Cunningham cares about that. So I think, yeah,
Mm.
look, I'm super high on Bay right now. I think that at 1550, look, tell me guys if there's a better buy out there at the moment. But for me, the reason why we're doing him number one is because I'm just buying this guy up at the
That's where the
moment.
value's at.
Yeah, 100%.
It's interesting though, and that's why, especially with rookies, silvers, greens, the like random variations of Prism base. Like rookies, you may as well keep them just in case. You never know when a player's gonna spike.
Yeah, I think we've all done it. Sold rookies for $1 or $2, and then 12 months later they're 20-30 bucks. Like this is
Yeah.
exactly why you keep your rookie cards,
Yep.
because you just never know when someone's going to pop.
Exactly.
Should we move on?
Yes. What's next on the agenda here?
I really want to talk about Jevon Carter. The reason is because I love these type of guys' games. So when I think about Jevon Carter, I think about like Tyus Edney. I
Mm-hmm.
think about Gary Payton. I think about guys that like to hustle and get after people and
Yep.
defend people and play basketball the right way. Like they're not dirty players. They're just hardworking. That lunch pail type guys.
Yep.
Look, I've got a couple of Jevon Carters. I'm not heavily bought into this guy. This is not what this segment's about. Like to pump this guy out to flip them for like more money for me. But he's really been out of my radar the last couple of years because he hasn't really been on people's rosters.
Yeah.
And finally, I picked him up in a fantasy league, and it was kind of like the league's so deep that he was too good to drop, but he's never been good enough to put into my like lineup. But I was watching the
Yeah.
Nets the other day, and he played fourth quarter minutes for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so this is to me where it gets super interesting. So Steve Nash, I was listening to the press conference. Steve Nash was talking about Jevon Carter. So it makes me think that they've lost James Harden. They need someone to play the
Hmm.
fourth quarter guard minutes. He can play both ends of the court. And actually, this season, he's been shooting like 38 to 45% from three, depending on which month you look at his 3-point statistics. Like he's been
Yeah.
shooting it really, really well. Look, I think part of that is his situation. Like the shots he shoots is all open shots because,
Yeah.
he's catching the ball off a double team and Katie's flicking it out to him, or Kyrie's, drawn two or three defenders and then he's, kicking it out to him. So do you know what I mean? Like he's really just playing his role, but he's playing it really well.
Yeah.
This to me is like the super interesting part. You can get a PSA 10 silver rookie at the moment for 35 USD.
Oh, wow.
So if you're into the flipping game, and this is like a super high risk flip, but let's just say this
Mm-hmm.
is what you're interested in, I think the Nets are probably going to finish sixth or seventh this year.
Yep.
So most likely they're going to be in the play-in tournament, and then I think they're going to make the first seed or the second seed's life hell. Most likely, I think they're going to beat them, and I think I've been super high on Nets. So if you're trying to like argue against me, that's where like my argument will fall down. I'm too
Yeah.
high on the Nets, but I can see these guys having a really deep playoff run. And if Jevon Carter is playing fourth quarter minutes, he's also then going to get a lot of national attention. A little bit
Mm.
similar to what we spoke about with Siddiq Bey. So I can see this guy having a massive spike.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting that with when trades happen, when players get injured, when you're kind of looking for that spark, you don't see games like players like this step up, or you don't expect it.
Yeah,
I guess would be
I
would be yeah.
I had completely forgotten about this dude, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not would surprising be the word to use? Yeah, it's not a surprise, but it is surprising. How's that? Is
He's
that
Yeah, that's fine. Look, I know what you're saying. He's a professional basketball player, so nothing shocking or surprising, right? But
actually no? That's it's funny because when you said about Siddiq Bey before, the first thing went through my mind. I'm like, what does someone just like accidentally scoring 50 points look like?
I don't think it's an accident, man.
No. But that's the
Yeah,
thing. Like they all train hard.
yeah,
And that's probably the big point there is they are professional athletes.
yeah.
And they do train hard. So it's not unexpected that a player is going to get on a run or find the right system or the right team. And yeah, it's I think it's good. Do you think he I don't know, does he make an hang on. So he was traded. Was he traded to the Bucks?
He's had a lot of movement, man. To be honest, I haven't even looked it up.
I'm trying to look at current stats. Well, definitely he's going to be considered in the playoffs. He was traded to Milwaukee. Or no,
And then I think he was released and then picked up by the Nets.
I don't know. I can't read dates properly on this thing. Current team, where's number 5 for Milwaukee? No. Stats. I don't want Wikipedia. The viewers are going to hate, the listeners are going to hate me for this. I'm trying to get his career stats, and it's like he played for Milwaukee, Phoenix. He's gone around a fair bit. So he started off, he was drafted by Memphis, went to Phoenix, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee.
He's in the Bucks now.
He's playing on the Bucks now.
What crack am I talking about?
He's actually been playing. Well, it doesn't surprise me with the way Brooklyn has been geared this season. Does that make like? Do you know what I mean? Like even they're just throwing things together at the moment in Brooklyn, trying to get their final composition. Maybe they don't see any value in him, but he's done all right so far for the Bucks. Points. Yep, serviceable 11. Yeah, a few double-digit games, and no DNPs. He's playing minutes for the Bucks at the moment. He's actually averaging around about 15 minutes a game for the Bucks in the last month.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to need to fix this up, mate.
Unless I'm looking at the wrong Javon Carter. No, same one.
That'll be one.
But we've definitely got some Brooklyn talk. Plus 13. Do you want to go back to the beginning of Javon Carter and not talk about him?
No, I definitely want to talk about him. I mean,
Yeah, it's like figuring out why he was delisted or was he delisted? Professional career, Brooklyn Nets.
actually, like, I mean, what I said.
He
I
was
still
waived
stand
on
by
February
because
22nd. Yeah. Oh, that's exactly why it happened. I know exactly why why he's with the Nets. He was waived to make room for Goran Dragic. Said. He was waived on February 22nd when the Nets signed Goran.
Okay.
Which, no offense to Javon Carter, is an upgrade at the point guard, the backup point guard.
Yeah.
It's Goran Dragic, yeah. That makes sense. And look, on February 24th, he signed on with the Bucks.
Yeah.
And he's actually been playing, 15 minutes a game since then. He's put some very serviceable minutes in there. And you know what? He may have been picked up by the eventual champions.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. The Nets have still got a play-in game to win.
Yeah. Can we record the Javon Carter bit again? Because I think that does change a little bit what I was saying. Though,
That's yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like we can
Sorry,
we'll go back to formula on that one.
I've clearly not done my homework properly.
No, that's all right. The problem with role players like this is moves can happen, and we just go, "Where's he been? Let's look at his stats." And it's like, "Oh shit, he plays for someone else now."
So, I mean, yeah,
I've got his stats up.
Because that press conference I was watching, that must have been like, what, 2 weeks ago then? Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What, 3 weeks ago?
Almost a month ago, yeah.
Far out, yeah. I'm losing it, man.
I'm going to keep blaming COVID.
Maybe I'm not as well as I think.
It's like, oh shit, COVID.
Alrighty.
He dropped 21 on the 8th of February.
All right, so let's just do Javon Carter again.
Yep. So you started with, it was like, there's one player I do want to talk about, Javon Carter.
All right. So Javon Carter, he is a very low-end prospect, but I do think he's definitely worth mentioning. He's been essentially in NBA oblivion the last couple of years. He was drafted in 2018.
Yep.
He's a very serviceable guy. The reason I like players like Javon Carter is I like back in the day Tyus Edney. I like back in the day Gary Payton. You know, guys that would just really get after people, you know, make people's lives hard, but also not dirty players. Like that was probably the other thing that, you know, Marcus Smart, for example, I can't get behind that guy. For me, he's just like a little bit too dirty. Same as Grayson Allen. Like, anyway, a guy like Javon Carter, I think he's, you know, really good to watch play basketball. He's shooting the ball really well this season. And we've just established that he's been released by the Brooklyn Nets and then he's been picked up by the Bucks. So
bit of value there for the Bucks. They're looking good. The Bucks are. I spoke with a friend about this actually on my trip last week.
Yeah.
The Bucks are gearing up for a serious playoff run.
They've definitely been pacing themselves this year, and I think they're starting to play a little bit harder. You can tell that
they're getting playoff ready, and they've made some moves on that roster that I would be very scary if I was looking at the East.
Yeah. So currently his prices for a PSA 10 silver is 35 USD.
Whew.
I think the movement or the potential for movement for this guy is that if the Bucks make a deep playoff run and he's playing fourth quarter minutes, which he has been. And he was playing fourth quarter minutes for the Nets too. And that's what I was trying to talk to you a little bit off air about.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn Nets coaching staff were just super high and super complimentary on this guy. Like, I think, you know, I think he plays the right way. I think he can make open shots. He'll really complement, you know, what that team does in terms of like 3-and-D. So
yeah. Look, I mean, that's the thing. Like the Nets coaching staff, they would be singing his praises. As a role player like he is, you don't get given many opportunities to really step up and jump into the spotlight. Yeah. Before he departed from the Nets, his final game in a Brooklyn uniform, he dropped 14 points.
Yeah.
Like, and he
I'm not surprised.
He had a couple of nice games, including 21 against the Celtics. And that was back in early February. So, look, he's made some... he's played some interesting games.
Yeah.
to say the least. And yeah, definitely getting some opportunities there in Brooklyn now.
In
Sorry,
Bucks
in
now.
Brooklyn, in the Bucks, in Milwaukee. Got plenty of opportunities in Brooklyn, and then they got rid of him for Goran Dragic. Maybe I'm
Mate,
still hungover.
you're not the problem here. It's okay, man. I
It's
know who's causing all the confusion here.
That's all right. I'm just trying to read spreadsheets now.
So Bucks wise, that's interesting though, because if you think about it, they've lost DiVincenzo,
Mhm.
who was playing, decent minutes for them.
Yes.
They traded him for Serge Ibaka. Then the other person they lost, this is in the off season, but he was still, really heavy in their rotation, was PJ Tucker. So
It's interesting.
if he gets 20 minutes a game through the playoffs, I'm not going to be shocked.
Look, he's already averaging 15 minutes a game, and he's
Yeah.
he's a good handful of games in. I think he's played 11 games for the Bucks.
Yeah,
And looking at the minutes, the most minutes he's played is 28,
that's
and
decent. Man.
and the least he's played is his first game where he played 9 minutes. That's the least. So he's averaging around that 15 minutes a game mark, and that's some serious court time for a role player, and he might actually. I think there's a solid chance that he is in that rotation, that core 8 or 9 that get used every game in the playoffs.
So if you're playing the flip game, I think the flip game is you buy now and then you sell in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like realistically, there's definitely movement there. Just a sort of small footnote to this, but also highly relevant. The other play you can do too is buy on ComC. So you don't even need to bring the cards home.
Yeah.
Buy them into ComC, increase the price now when the playoffs roll around, hope that they sell. You don't need to handle them. ComC does it all for you. So
Yeah.
ComC had been out of the furthest of my mind. I actually forgot I had cards sitting there. I got them sent back this week. That's kind of why that's in my mind at the moment.
Ah. Well, it's just random
we-
cards floating around. All right, what have we got next on the docket?
Should we move on to a couple of listener questions?
Let's do it.
All right, David-
Let's do it.
David Griffiths, thank you very much, mate, for your question. Would love to hear your thoughts on the whole Ben Simmons thing now the Brooklyn doctors have pretty much ruled him out for the season with his back. Should
What?
the 76ers pay his $20 million in fines? Now it's been proven that he wasn't faking the injury they claimed he was.
What? Just because doctors discovered that Ben Simmons doesn't have a spine does not mean that the Philadelphia 76ers should pay him out. Is that what they needed doctors to prove it? Just get an x-ray. You can tell he's got no spine. Could have told it before getting an x-ray. He hasn't talked to anyone since he's gone to Brooklyn. He doesn't want to play basketball. He's never going to play basketball again.
I feel like if you and I were cops and there's a good cop and a bad cop, I feel like you're a bad cop.
There's a good chance. There's a good chance. Look, and that I'm no medical expert. I'm being very metaphorical with Ben's lack of a spine. He's got a weird hunch to him. You never know. Could be.
I think
Anyway,
his hunch is because of all the jewelry that's around his neck, man. That stuff must weigh a ton.
if he sold that, he'd get his 20 million, wouldn't he?
That can't be good
Oh
for your
my
posture
God.
wearing that much jewelry, honestly.
Yes, and slouching in a chair because you're not playing basketball. While you're just sitting there on your phone anyway.
Come on, man.
That's enough. That's enough Ben slander. I've got plenty left in the tank for.
Question. Give him an honest answer.
No, look. I think there's a lot of grey as far as the Ben Simmons or say issues. We'll call them issues. I don't think the Sixers should pay him back the money that they fined him because he I don't believe he was totally honest with the team. If he's struggling with mental health issues, he should be communicating this with the team. The team should know what's going on, regardless. And if the fact is, if he went silent to the point where they had to fine him for not playing, because he's basically gone down the mental health route for the better part of 6 months, and now it's his back. If it was his back all along, why wouldn't he have said so? Because it wouldn't allow the trade. in which case Philadelphia would have known, just Brooklyn wouldn't have. Like there's a lot more to unpack here as far as what is Ben doing? What is his end game? And look, I don't know. I'm going to put my conspiracy hat on and say I don't think he wants to play basketball anymore, and he just wants to capitalize as much as he can before he stops, before he officially steps away.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Sad but true. And look, yeah, I don't know. The Nets seem to be doing all right without him, which is good. But the acquisition of Goran Dragic is clear sign that they needed a point guard to be there. Kyrie's playing some games. Look, they I don't know. I think it's an interesting predicament. But at the moment, initially it was like, oh wow, Harden went off in his first game. He's gone missing since, but that's not the point. You know how they're like, oh, this could be good for both franchises. Philly's now happy because they've got an active player. Ben's finally going to come out of his slump and play in Brooklyn. Both teams won the trade. Like, we're now at a point where we're saying, did both teams lose the trade?
I think it's a little bit early to say that for Philly, because I think integrating a massive
a piece like Harden. Fair enough. And
also to that coach, like, I don't think anyone has given enough credence to this, even like professional commentators, of how rigid Doc Rivers is. Like, he's not these type of like cerebral coaches who's making adjustments on the fly to his rotation. That's not how the guy works. He sets his rotation in bed, a week before the game, and then that's it. And he's got his little pen and paper in his pocket, and then the time, numbers come around and he moves his subs in and out. Like, that's how Doc works. He's not like looking at advanced plus minus numbers and changing numbers on rotations and matchups. Like, let's keep
that's fair,
real, right?
But what I'm saying at the moment, like, what were the Nets fans expecting out of Ben? Was there an expectation that he got traded away and all of a sudden he felt better and was going to play again?
So, being pragmatic, they expected someone to handle the ball for them, to defend and rebound, and that's what that team needed desperately.
But when? Genuine question is when? Do you think Philly knew about the back problem?
No, I don't think so. I actually think this is a new injury, because I do, because we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that Simmons had been organizing his own runs in Philadelphia, and he'd been doing it at great time consumption because he couldn't do them at the Philadelphia center. He had to go outside of Philadelphia.
I'm more of the point that if I've got an injured back and I want out of Philly, if anyone knows about it, I'm not getting traded.
But they would have done physicals, right?
Philly wanted him gone as well.
Yeah, but if they were...
So, all right, well, this goes back to we'll answer David's question. Yes, they pay because it's hush money. They pay the $20 million. He pays the $20 million back in fines because otherwise he comes out and says they knew I was injured and they traded me to Brooklyn anyway. I don't know. I
don't think so. I don't think that's right, man. Because
he can't have put his back. How did he put his back out in Philly? In Brooklyn, of all places.
You can put your back out anytime, any place. I don't think this is a conspiracy that he could be ramping up his activities and then have some back irritation. I don't think that's the thing. So my answer to this is that no, the Sixers won't pay back his fines, and the only reason why they would is if it goes to arbitration and they're made to pay it back.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that was the next thing. Ben's taking it legal, isn't he?
Well, $20 million, of course you would, right? Even if you paid your lawyer $5 million, that's still $15 million.
He is going, and it is going to end up. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, though, my understanding is that the Nets can basically pay the money. So I think in my
They go,
mind,
it's okay, we've got this.
yeah, the
Don't
real
stress.
question is who's going to pay him his salary? Is it going to be the 76ers or is it going to be the Brooklyn Nets? And that's not an unheard of thing where players have like held out and been traded and then still got their money. So my
That's
understanding
fair.
is that that happened in the past at some point.
Yep.
Um, so my sort of take on this current situation is like this is a regular season injury, and what I mean by that is if this was the playoffs or it's the finals, he's playing.
All
Do you
right,
know
so
what I mean?
that
Like,
I guess that answers. So my follow up to that is: do you think Ben wants to play basketball?
yeah, I do, man.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
I
I
don't. I
think
just
that
it seems like one thing after another.
look, I'll definitely agree that he is an employee who seems to be a little bit more high maintenance than other employees. I don't
Such a
think.
diplomatic way of saying
No,
things.
I mean, if you've worked in a management position, you
Hmm.
know what I'm talking about here,
Yeah.
right? You have some people that are really high performing, and you kind of forget to like even check in on them because they
Hmm.
never cause you issues, and then you always have people who'll come and knock it on your door and complaining. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of get he's the type of person that
Oh, he's a
is doing the
diva for
complaining, right?
sure.
Yeah. And whether he's doing that by text message or he's manager or just not turning up and all that type of stuff, you know what I mean? Like
It's like,
he's
oh
that type of
no,
dude.
Ben just called in sick again. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he wants to play basketball, but I think realistically here he's been sitting around and probably not doing. I mean, it's hard to like simulate NBA games. I think he tried his best and then he's ramped up his activities and now he's got a bad back. So I think the epidural part is kind of interesting to me because are they doing that to give him pain relief or are they doing that to increase his mobility? Because
Ah, yeah.
when they've given him the epidural, then they can run him through a bit more stretching and a bit more kind of like hydro and stuff like that. So, a part of me is kind of like, well, actually, I'm not that worried about it. But then the cynical part of me is actually saying, this is really bad. Like he's a young man who relies on his athleticism
Yeah.
and his speed and his quickness. Because if you think
Mm.
about it, when he's most effective is when he's getting the ball off the backboard and he's going end to end. And that's what the Nets need. They need
Yeah.
easy baskets. Um,
Yeah.
so, I think, and realistically, what I think is, and this is what I found off Hoops Hype, the
Yeah.
Nets play the Cleveland Cavaliers and Indiana Pacers in their two final regular season games, April 8 and 10, respectively, prior to the start of their playing tournament. And that's when Simmons is expected to play. So, and in my mind, that's logical. That makes sense.
So they reckon he might play those last couple of games.
That's what Hoops Hype is saying, and I'm all on board with this theory.
I'd like to see him play. Like, don't
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. Like, I'm very critical of him, but I'm becoming very skeptical of his drive, of his actual desire to play the game.
Yeah. And I suppose to answer David's question, like, explicitly, I don't think the Philadelphia 76ers should pay back the money because the way he handled that and his manager handled that, that's not the way to do business. And
Correct.
that's
They're
the
holding him
price.
accountable. The fines
Yeah.
are
And
the
that's the
club
price you
holding him
pay. Yeah.
accountable. Yep.
Whether he thinks he was thrown under the bus or he was like not treated well, blah, 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 like that's irrelevant. Like he didn't fulfill his professional duties.
Correct.
He doesn't get paid. Like literally it's as simple as that.
Contractual obligation. Yeah.
In terms of like the part about the injury faking, I mean, that's the type of thing that in my mind, you'll never really know the truth to this. Like how mentally unwell was he? How physically unwell was he? I have no idea. But the fact that at the exact same time that he was also having like a contract dispute, that looks really poor.
Now, just to throw another spanner in the works. Our friend Ben, is he with Clutch Sports? I think
He's in the LeBron camp. I'm pretty
he's
sure.
in the
Yeah.
LeBron camp, right? So he's got a good brains trust with him.
Yeah.
What happens if he takes this legal with Philly to get the payout from Philly, and Brooklyn say they're going to pay it?
That's a non.
Does he double dip? Is there any way to double dip?
You can't double dip.
Oh, hey, I'm sure he can try.
No, you can't. Man. You only get money. So I think in that case, then like
Yeah.
Brooklyn's off the hook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do think Brooklyn's gonna. Sorry, Philly's gonna push back. You're right. I also, if anyone hasn't read between the lines or I haven't been clear about it. I don't think he should be paid.
Yeah, so
Back by
Simmons is
Philly.
represented by Rich Paul.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought so. But I mean, he'll get his money some way. But I just don't agree. I don't think he deserves it. I think the way you hit the nail on the head, the way he handled it was extremely poor. There's a right way to go about things and there's a wrong way to go about things.
Yeah.
And he put some like divas to shame with the way he behaved. Like it was pretty. It's just, yeah, no, it was yeah, it was something special. Not the way I would definitely handle the situation. And look, all props to Philadelphia for holding him accountable and fining him. Hope that once he's back feels better and his head's in the right spot, that he gets out in the court and plays some basketball, because that's all people want from him. That's all the Nets want from him.
Yeah.
Just play some basketball. And you've got someone there as a support. You've got Patty Mills with you. Make the most of it, mate.
Yep. Yeah. I think
Patty can tell him all about what it's like to play for the Australian team.
Influence on that, man.
Anyway.
I think that's a really good situation. And to be honest, I think KD's a good influence.
No. KD's a drama queen. Let's be real.
I think
he is as cuckoo as Kyrie.
I don't know. Look,
he's got about 37 Twitter accounts that'll tell you otherwise, but I think he's just as crazy as Kyrie Irving.
No one's perfect, man. KD's a good dude. I think
a good dude. I'm still on the side of batshit crazy. Great basketballer. I still think he's batshit crazy.
I don't know. I think
he wanted Kyrie because they're cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, they're good friends, man.
KD will not tell you that he does believe that the Earth is flat. No, I don't have any evidence to back that up. I just think KD's a bit of a drama queen and lost the plot. Not everybody has all their marbles. It's okay. He's still playing amazing basketball at the moment, and the Nets are poised to strike.
Yeah,
they are in if they win their playing games.
Opinions needed. This is from NBA.
I've got opinions. Don't you worry.
What is Tim Duncan's collectability? I picked up a somewhat rare card of Duncan, and I'm not sure if it's worth holding onto or moving for a player I actually PC like Iverson. The card wasn't very cheap, and I don't have many others of him, so I'm not sure if I want to keep it. Okay. Only reason I got it is because I threw out a bid on eBay and somehow ended up winning. And that does happen from time to time, actually. Okay. Duncan has all the awards and championships, but doesn't seem to get much love in the hobby. Is San Antonio too small of a market? What do you think, Ad?
I think he is one of those players that suffered from small market collectability. Is that a thing? I know I talk about it a lot, that he's just not the poster boy for anything.
He wasn't a poster boy ever.
Even no, exactly. But
MVPs.
But his nickname says it all.
Yeah.
The big fundamental.
Yeah.
He's not the most exciting player on the court. He's one of the best that ever played the game, but he's not exciting and entertaining because he's a winner. He's a system winner. He won because of a system. Oh, and his talent, but like he won within a system.
He was insanely competent at basketball.
Oh, he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. But I don't know. Like the case could be made that he's one of the greatest fours of all time.
So, would you hold this card or would you flip it?
As much as I would say he's not collectible, if it's a very rare card, it will get the value it deserves. Because there are some, I don't know if you've got comps, we don't know exactly what the card is.
Yeah, that doesn't matter, right? It's a really good question.
But I don't think it's going to lose value, is what I'm saying. Is Tim Duncan? There are Tim Duncan collectors out there, and there's a lot of basketball fans that know exactly who Tim Duncan is.
Yeah.
It doesn't. the man's like, do you know what I mean? Like he's one of the greatest basketball. He's named in the 75 best players of all time.
Yeah.
So he's not going
He's in my
anywhere.
top 10, to be honest.
He gets without a doubt. Oh, there's probably debate somewhere, but he's in my top 20. I don't even know who the 10 would be, but
That's fine. Oh, yeah,
he's
I
right
got no
up there.
argument with it.
Like
Look, I'm very high on Tim Duncan.
I
So
think he's fantastic. And look, if you got it for a good price, my thought is simple. If you think you can get better value by flipping it, flip it. But if you think it's something that you want something of Duncan's, probably good card to keep. It's not going to go down in value. You should give yourself a pat on the back. It's you've picked up a bargain on eBay.
Yep.
Just hope it's genuine.
So my experience with Tim Duncan is that I really enjoyed watching him play basketball when I was younger. So for me, I think Tim Duncan is someone that you should be buying.
Yep.
If you're asking me, do I buy, hold, or sell Tim Duncan? To me, he's a buy. So my, I suppose, Tim Duncan story is, remember 12 months ago when it was very trendy for people to buy 80s and 90s stuff because like ultra modern was too expensive, and then we had that sort of huge spike. It wasn't a huge spike, but there was that spike in sort of 80s and 90s stuff. I was actually buying Tim Duncan at that point. So where I'm sitting right now is I actually got really badly burnt because I was buying on the spike, and now obviously it's come down a lot, and in some instances some of it's come down like 50%. So I mean, despite all of that, I was buying that Duncan stuff, to be honest, not to flip. I was buying it because I wanted some Duncan in my PC, and it seemed to me to be, even at the time when it was spiking, there seemed to be really good value in comparison to like what ultra modern is selling for.
Yeah.
And now that the prices have adjusted or come down 50%, I stand by that opinion doubly, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you look at Tim Duncan rookie cards and then say you compare that to Karl Anthony Towns rookie cards, like Cat is probably selling for double the price, but Tim Duncan has got 4 times the resume. So
is it recency bias though?
It's absolutely recency bias, and I think it's also to the ultra modern market has completely changed the way cards are traded.
Oh, that's a point. Yeah.
And I would probably also say too, the thing about Tim Duncan is, and I'll stand by this, I think that if you look at the whole hobby, you went through, if you lined up every single person in a line, I think Tim Duncan is the most undervalued person that's out there. So I think all of that goes into like that answer there. And it's a very long answer to his question, but essentially, look, if I was this guy and I could afford it, I would keep that card because I want to have a Tim Duncan card in my collection. And actually, this is a future episode I want to do it with you. I want to do an episode with you that said like, what is the 10 NBA players that you have to have in your collection?
Oh, I like that. Well,
yeah. So
I think that's a question we'll put out to the listeners as well.
Yeah, and we can do it as a listener question too, because I was telling you when I went.
We can do it like it. Oh no, we'll do it as a countdown. I was going to say we can do it as a whole episode, or we can break it up into.
Maybe we do it for an episode, like
a rundown.
But what I was going to say is, like, remember when we went to the hobby hangout? I told you I got that Robinson auto.
That's right. Yes.
That was kind of like part of my chase for that. Like, there's just some players that I really want to get, like, just one really nice card of theirs. Yeah. And I'd put, David Robinson into that. I would put, say, Allen Iverson into that. Larry Bird. I really want to get, like, just a really nice.
It's a nice Larry
Bird, a really nice Magic Johnson. So, in my mind, Tim Duncan is like in that same sentence as, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. So,
yeah.
I think if you're on a bit of a budget and you want to get an all-timer, you want to get something that's going to hold value over the years, I think Duncan is a really, really great buy.
Yeah.
So, that's my answer there.
And yeah, look, as I said, if you got it at a steal and you don't need to flip it, don't. We know the trajectory of basketball cards.
Yeah.
Especially Hall of Fame greats like Tim Duncan.
Yeah. And particularly now we've just gone through like a massive spike and a come down. Like I think
Yeah.
you're buying now and it's going to trickle back up again. I don't think there's going to be another big,
Yeah,
50%
don't sell
decline.
on the dip. You buy on the dip, you don't sell on the dip.
Gary V. We
I was
have
going
to
to
talk
say,
about this.
speaking of buying on the dip, well,
Yeah. So Gary V,
the king of NFTs.
The sealed product sold for 2.2 USD K
What?
in the silent auction on the Fanatics
Oh,
website.
that's right. Yep. No,
So we're 1 week clear of that.
Mm-hmm.
eBay sold prices are coming in. I found one for 9,000 sold and one for 12,000. So
50 bids on the $12,000 one.
people are basically 6x their money in a week, which is, for these people, congratulations. You've absolutely just like destroyed it. You can get my advice on selling Jevon Carter cards and you can make $35, or you can go and buy Gary V and you can make 10 grand in a week. I mean, I know whose advice I would take.
I'm listening to you. I'm looking at these cards and I don't. What is this?
So raw base cards have been selling for 1,580, 930, 920, 735, 755, and 910 USD. So obviously, it's still pretty early in the piece. That's all I could find on that. But is this a pump and dump? Is this similar to like what Top Shot was, where it came out of the gates and it was just going
Have you
absolute
seen
bananas?
any of these cards? What's on the...
So I said last week...
What is this?
I said this last week and I'm standing by it. It literally looks like crap that my 3-year-old's drawn, but on a really expensive piece of cardboard. I don't understand this. So if you can explain it to me, I would really appreciate it.
I'm just as curious. I'm like...
Okay, that's fine. Because I wanted to ask you about this. Because I know you're more into like the
quirky side of things.
Quirky side of things, the pop culture stuff, whereas I'm pretty much like just basketball and, barely do that well. So,
What
if
the
you have...
bloody hell is all this stuff?
Okay, well, let's just leave it at that then. That's probably all we need to talk about.
I want a hot shit Hornet. SHT is the $1,475. Numbered 6 of 8.
I think at this point you're only buying this if you really...
If you've got more dollars than cents, that's all I'm gonna say.
No, I was gonna say if you really love this stuff, I would say buy it. Like, go nuts. But at the same time, I think if you're buying this to flip it now in the aftermarket, I think that
if you're spending 12 grand on US,
that's perilous. To me, that's absolutely perilous, and I'm not touching that.
You're gonna spend 10 grand to go, I'm gonna flip it. No.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Honestly, that's just...
I'm gonna get some children to draw on some cardboard for me, and I'm gonna try and sell some cards.
I'll get my kid to do one for
That's
you, mate.
it. Done.
I'll express post it out to you.
Yeah, no, we need a numbered. We need multiples of the same. Numbered.
Keep her entertained all day.
It'd be like a whole afternoon's work. Wow.
Interesting thing did pop up when I was doing this search. So a Gary V auto from Tops X sold for 535 USD.
535. 3 bids.
That to me that's epic, and
Tops
it really
X.
does, for me, go on from what the conversation was, what the Fanatics guy were talking about. That was basically saying that there's no real marketplace for celebrity cards, for politicians cards, for all that sort of extra stuff like movie cards. So is there this actually huge market out there for all this type of stuff, and they're going to fill that void? The guys from Sports Cards and Nonsense were talking about this, saying how that is this good for basketball, is this not good for basketball cards? Well, surely this has to bring in some other people into the hobby. And I think I was really skeptical about how Fanatics was going to grow the hobby, but maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. So people who are buying these cards will then, trickle over into other high-end sort of equivalent products.
Well, all right. So I've been, with regards to the pop culture side of things, right?
Talk to me.
You can go to a local market and buy a photo with a fake autograph or a scan that's signed, a scan of a signed thing. Do you know what I mean? To get
No, no. What are you
autograph
talking about?
memorabilia.
Are you talking about cards, or are you talking?
I'm talking about
about
actual autograph memorabilia. So I'm gonna.
Yeah.
This is layered. You can go and buy a knockoff photo that's been signed by a celebrity, right?
Is it the actual celebrity, or is it a fake signature?
I think it's a fake. Oh, I'm gonna assume it's a fake signature because of the
Okay.
price. Because of the price.
Sure. Yeah.
But in this day and age, where sports cards are becoming more, they're on the radar, more common,
Yeah. And
right?
very readily accessible too these days with the internet. Like let's be
And
honest about that. Yeah.
and there's a lot more questions over how authentic things are.
Yeah.
What better way to guarantee the authenticity than trading cards? You know it's a genuine autograph.
Yeah.
So I think it's it's a step in the right direction as far as I see it. It's
I agree with that 100% actually,
Yeah.
because that's why I don't buy memorabilia, because I'm very skeptical of the authenticity of it. Whereas cards, I mean, let's not live in a naive world. You can get scammed in the card business,
You
but
can.
I
There
feel
are
as though,
scammers out there in the card business, and there's also with memorabilia. We'll go to the jerseys and patches.
yeah,
There's a big difference between
people have swapped patches out of cards, and how on earth they do that and stick them back together without the card being damaged is beyond me. But
beyond me. Well,
yeah,
there's also Panini's gone to the fact that they're not always game worn jerseys.
no, that's different again.
That's on the back. I was going to say that's different, but
But that's them declaring whether it's been game worn or not. Do you know what I'm saying? That's completely different again.
that's also why I would put my faith in a trading card company.
Yeah.
Because they
I'm
will
with you.
disclose
Yeah,
the authenticity of
Yeah.
the product.
yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, did we talk about the was it the George Costanza one?
And the baseball card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're like, cool. But did he wear that on set?
I don't know. I don't think we followed that up.
No, but it's one of those. I just think a trading card company would be, because of licensing,
Yeah.
would be a better, I suppose, watchdog on these things, on the
Yeah.
authenticity of a product.
Yeah, sure.
So, but yeah, no, definitely an interesting one. But Gary V stuff, wow. I'm more interested that Gary V's autograph sold for like $500, and the random dog's breakfast drawing sell for like 10 grand.
I personally think the autograph at 500 US has got a lot more long-term value than this other stuff. I think this is literally the definition of a pump and dump.
Oh yeah, and it's been pumped. It's been pumped by Gary V on
Well,
all of your
the
social
irony-
media.
Yeah, but the irony about this though is actually he didn't do any of the dumping, because the price wasn't set by Fanatics or by Gary V. It was actually set by the consumers.
But that's the thing. Like, the pumping is there's a combination of FOMO and this feeling of desperation of, I need to get this, because of the way he hypes he's such a good hype guy.
Is he?
It's just, I need to get this. The first time I heard about NFTs was Gary V.
Yeah.
And the first thing that came to mind was, I need to understand what this is.
Yeah.
It was this drive. I'm like, I need to understand it.
Yeah.
This guy sold me on something and I have no idea what it's about.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
It's that it's that hook, and you want to know more. So, look, I definitely think it's interesting, but in 10 years' time, I agree with you. I think, well, I don't know if you're thinking on the same lines that I am, but Gary V's autograph on a card is going to be worth more than that stuff that they've paid 10 grand for.
Yeah, I don't get this stuff at all.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah. I think some of it's just, it's like, not quite there, and I don't understand why I would want to do it. Anyway.
Maybe someone can tell us at home if, like, what are
Yeah.
we missing here, because
DM us, let us know.
Maybe we're missing the point. Maybe
Enlighten. Maybe I don't know. It's
But maybe the people who collect this are like, why are you idiots collecting basketball cards?
Yeah, fair point. Fair
Maybe
point.
it's exactly
Very,
the
very
same
fair
thing, but
point.
just like a different dude behind the microphone, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because realistically, why does anyone collect anything?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Anyway, congratulations to the person who sold their case for 12,000. I'm actually proud of you. Honestly,
That's an
that
effort.
is literally the world's greatest flip I've ever seen. So congrats.
That's an insane flip.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Now I believe you had a question for me
Oh, yeah,
last
okay.
week on the
Let's
show.
let's have this as our closing thought. So, would you buy Zion at 2K for a PSA 10 silver, or would you buy Luka at 2.6K PSA 10 silver?
2K.
Let's
I'm.
just say
I don't know.
you had a spare 4,000 AUD sitting in your bank account,
Just sitting
and
around,
you could do whatever you wanted with it.
and yep, and I couldn't find a Ja Morant rookie.
No,
All right.
but you could find a Luka and a Zion at this price.
So we'll say I go into my local card store.
Yeah, you went down to EJ Cards.
Yep, and I just walked up and I went, "Hey, look, I need it. I need another rookie. I want a nice
I've got a
PS.
spot in my cabinet for a nice rookie card.
Yep, I want a PSA 10. I want something sweet, something that's really I'm going to invest, but this is a long term. This is long term for me.
Sorry, I'm just doing this for the people who are actually watching this at home still. Don't let me distract you, mate. This is
I'm salivating.
this is not for you, Adam. This is for the people at home.
Okay. So and then so I get shown that. Well, I get shown a Luka PSA 10
10
silver.
Yeah, not a 9 red, white, and blue.
Yep.
Still.
Yep. But still. And then I get shown a Zion.
Yep. With a different price tag. I feel like you're building this up a lot. You're really
I'm gonna take the
building
Zion.
this up. Yeah.
I'm gonna
You taking the Zion?
I'm taking the Zion.
Okay, I'm taking the Luka at that price every day of the week. And interesting, do you know I saw today a 9.5 BGS sold for $1,000 US.
Wow.
That to me is
That's the value. That's the value.
that's really value, right? I mean, for two things, you keep it, and the BGS sits there, or
I'm sorry, but the difference between the 9.5 BGS and the PSA 10, yeah, there's a big difference, but it's not that big.
yeah. But what about the crossover potential? Like,
Yeah.
that could be PSA 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it had subgrades on there too. So, look, maybe this is what we need to look into a little bit more. So I'm going to do this right now. Is actually Luka's sliding for some crazy reason?
Because he plays in Dallas, and they're trash.
They've been playing really well, and he's been
They
playing
have
really
been
well.
playing well.
So you know what I mean? Like, what's the?
Yeah, where does he go? Yeah, what's the reason for the slide? Look, there's some insane Luka hype. The question is, has he overspiked?
I mean, a lot of people came into the hobby, and a lot of people bought Luka. So yeah, his current price is still 2,600. So in the last 3 months, he's down 18%. Luka's got 2 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, he's down 9%.
Ah.
In the last month, he's down 11. So that's pretty much what we spoke about last week. That hasn't really changed at all.
Not a lot. But yeah, I know. Look, I'm taking a punt with Zion. There's a chance that I flip it for 1,500 when I find out Zion's not playing again, and then end up trying to buy a Luka for 3 afterwards. But I don't know. I feel like the ceiling on Zion is still there because the dips happened. I'm still at this point. Zion at 2K is buying on the dip, because if Zion is going to be the Zion we all thought he was going to be, and he plays a couple of games for New Orleans, and he comes back and he's healthy, far out.
Can I be devil's advocate there, though?
Go for it.
2,000 and 2,600 is like, in the scheme of things, not that much.
True.
But
I think the ceiling on Zion is bigger than Luka.
Do you really? But I was going to say the opposite, right? I think in terms of prospects, like, Zion is 3 steps behind where Luka is.
But he could launch on and be bigger than Luka.
I don't think so. I think Luka is in terms of like hobby wise, and even on the court wise, I think is a better player. And also too, the other thing, and I think this is a really important thing, the injury histories of these two guys is like you couldn't be more polar opposite. Like Luka has already got an old man game,
Yeah.
and his body has already proven to be quite robust. And he
Yeah,
kind of
fair.
came into the league with like a man's body already. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't like a skinny dude that needed to put on weight and sort of transform his body. Whereas I think it's pretty well established that probably Zion does need to change his body type to some degree to be
Yeah, fair.
successful.
Fair.
So that's probably what goes through my head. And I just looked up the BGS 9.5. So in the last 3 months, he's down 31.53%. So let's call it 32%.
Yeah.
In the last month, he's down 27%. The last 2 weeks, he's down 26%. It last sold for 1,010. I think that is like enticing.
I have a thing with this, and it's not Luka as much, but I feel like Luka's ceiling, we'll call it, is going to get lower and lower every year. Dallas doesn't do well in the playoffs.
Yeah, okay, but all right,
When did Giannis's value go through the roof?
probably like 18 months before he won a championship.
When he won his MVP. Something Luka also hasn't done.
Was that 18 months before he won his championship?
I think
He
so,
won
yeah.
MVP? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That
There
was
was the season
yes,
before.
I didn't put those two things together.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's probably an MVP. His first MVP, I think.
Yeah. See, I sort of put in my head Giannis rookie stuff out of touch. Like I couldn't sell off a bunch of cards to buy that. Whereas at a KUSD,
Okay, yeah.
I could actually cobble something together for that.
Yep.
I think reasonably, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm super enticed by this actually, like because
It's interesting.
What I'm thinking right now is this is like a 25-year purchase for me. So
Yeah.
I'm not thinking to buy this now and flip it in 12 months. I'm thinking like,
You're buying it, and once he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, you're selling it.
well, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe I've just made the right purchase and, it's like a family heirloom. Like, I think
I like that.
I feel very comfortable with that.
Yeah. But it's definitely like, look, if Zion is a riskier prospect here, I think we all know that Luka is going to have a great career, and Zion is still an unknown quantity. I just think the ceiling on that is higher for Zion because Luka is going to be a one team guy. From early reports and early signs,
Yeah.
Luka is going to be in Dallas forever.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Early
I agree with
stages, Zion hasn't done a whole lot, and he's already unhappy. So does he end up, heaven forbid, in Los Angeles? You know what I mean? Like, does he end up in purple and gold after LeBron retires
Yeah. I see
and
what you're
become the next big thing? Or does he get traded to the Magic and just end up playing basketball in Turkey in a few years' time?
Nah, man. I think so. My conspiracy theory on that is the Knicks, and we've
Yeah. But it's like there's a lot of unknowns about A, where he's going to land, and B, what his career looks like. Luka, where we're starting to piece together now.
Yeah, okay.
Where he's going to end up team-wise, and we can see what trajectory he's on career-wise, which
Actually,
is not a bad career.
Even though I disagree with you, in some ways I agree with you, and I think in some ways that's why I think Luka is more of a safe bet because of what you just said. You know what I mean? You almost said
He's
it
the
yourself.
established.
Like, yeah, he's almost like a safer bet because you kind of know what you're getting, right?
You know the
he's
player.
going to be in Dallas. You know his gameplay. You know his body. Blah blah blah. Whereas Zion, you're banking on him having a change of scenery and everything coming together, and then he's like the next poster boy of the whole league.
Yep.
I think that's what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rightio. Okay. Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yep.
Well, no, I just can't. I went to the Adelaide races. I'm still in gambling mode. I'm buying Zion. I lost too much money on the horses, and now I'm going to gamble with a Zion. No.
Final thoughts for this week, mate?
The final thought, speaking of gambling, have you seen the Raz that's up, the Australian card that's almost half full?
No, I haven't. Which one?
The 500 spotter. I'm going to tag you in. There is a Michael Jordan BGS 9.5
Yeah.
being razzed at the moment.
Oh, and is that the one the guy won it himself
Tom
in a Raz?
Foggo. I think
Now
so.
he's razzing himself.
Possibly.
I think I did see that actually.
It's
Yeah.
500 spots at 150 a spot. So my question in return, do you buy a spot in a 500 spot
Not
raffle
in a 500
for a
spot race.
Jordan
No.
9.5 BGS?
I like razzes that are 10 spots.
Isn't this $1 million card according to Josh Luba?
Is that what Luba said?
No. Is it how much? What was the grade of the Jordan, the Jordan rookie that was sold?
Nah. We're talking about a different card now, right? It's not a rookie card that's being razzed, is it?
I'm tagging you in. It's a Jordan rookie.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. We are talking about two different cards.
Hang on. I'm sure it's a Jordan rookie.
I thought it was the Scoring Kings.
No. This is definitely a Jordan rookie.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Sean Craig. What are we up to? No. I have a number in mind. I want to buy 2 spots.
Okay.
I've got permission. I've got permission from the better half to buy 2 spots in this.
Do you really?
Yeah. Comments. Russell. I've just tagged you in it.
All right. No, man. I'm
1986-87 Fleer, number 57, Michael Jordan, 9.5 gem mint. It's a once in a lifetime Raz. But at $150 a spot, it's a lot. He's all like the guy that's running it said that it's Tom Foggo's card. Yeah, he's actually extending payment terms for people to like a month to pay for their spots.
unbelievable.
That's $75,000.
No, I think I'll put that 150 or 300 towards the Luka 9.5. I got my heart set on that, actually.
I'm gonna put my 300 there and I'm gonna win the damn thing. If I win it, this is being clipped and circulated. But yes, I just thought that was very. I don't normally talk about razzes and stuff, but wow.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
why not?
Wow.
Instagram, you can't comp this. Twitter, at you can't comp this. Gmail, you can't comp this at gmail.com. Facebook, you can't comp this podcast. And now on YouTube too. What's the name of our channel?
There are so many symbols, numbers, and letters that I couldn't tell you the YouTube address.
If you search for you can't comp this podcast, will we come up?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. But what we'll do is we'll put it in the Facebook group. Put it in the Facebook group.
Yeah,
tell
do
everyone to like and subscribe. We'll bit of a campaign to get people onto the YouTubes.
We just spoke about how good Gary V is at like pumping stuff up. We haven't even told people what we're doing with YouTube, have we? So we're broadcasting on YouTube, aren't we?
We're broadcasting on Twitch, on my channel on Twitch.
Yeah.
We're gonna figure out how to do this on YouTube as well, live anyway, so that way I don't have to upload the Twitch video. But yeah, we're doing this. So you normally get the episode Monday night on YouTube, so it's a bit of a delay. But live on Twitch. So anyone
You're doing a good job, mate. I appreciate it.
So anyone that jumps onto my my Twitch, which is it's 8EZ7281Z or Z, wrong country. Anyway,
I think we better put this into say like the Twitter description or something like that.
Yeah.
Because have we got any people on your Twitch feed asking questions or anything?
No, I had a friend of mine, Jake, jump on and redeem a token asking me to have a drink of water, and that was about it.
Oh, good old Jake.
Got in and made sure he got me to hydrate. But yeah, no, it's we do it live every week that I'm here. We didn't get to do it live on Twitch last week, but yeah, and then I upload it all onto YouTube. So We'll get out there, and then eventually I'm going to hone my fully sick editing skills, and that's every ounce of sarcasm I could muster, to make some TikToks, and we'll just...
Oof.
Some of my bold predictions and insults to NBA players will be put into TikToks.
Thank you so much, mate, for your time.
Pleasure as always.
Great to see you, buddy.
Good to be back. I'm glad I could be of assistance with that Zion question.
Yeah, that was a good one. It's always better when you're around, mate.
I'm so sorry to Ben Simmons. If I ever meet Ben Simmons, I'm gonna blush. I'm like, I'm sorry,
Ben Simmons
mate.
is going to get that 10-kilogram chain from his neck and beat you to death with it. That's
This is this is true.
Yeah.
He's got a bad back. He won't be able to chase me. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure he'll chase you down. Like,
oh no.
I think these guys are professional athletes for a reason, you know?
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Proof Ben Simmons has a spine. Just chasing me down the street. Beating me with a chain. Oh, God.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
See you next time.